It had all started in the middle of 2012. At first, I thought someone was pranking me. Initially, I was unnerved about it. I questioned my friends and they all said they had no idea about the letters and gifts I had received. I even reported it to the police. They took my testimony and said that for sure, whoever it was will either reveal themselves eventually, or, if it's a prank, they will stop. Also, they told me in case I received threats, to contact them again. And so, for months, almost every day, I had received gifts and letters from my secret admirer. As time passed, I realized that it wasn't a prank, and that someone really cared for me. The only thing I didn't understand was why he didn't want to meet in person. Maybe he is shy, I thought. I assumed it was a he. Having been single for a couple of years, I must admit that while the gifts and letters indicated a possible stalker, I was also flattered to learn there is someone who truly likes me. I suspected it could be a friend, a neighbor, or even a stranger. My secret admirer became a kind of obsession for me. He brought some freshness and intrigue to my otherwise monotonous single life. However, Valentine's of 2013 changed everything. That Valentine's Day I did not get any gifts. I did not worry much because I assumed that my secret admirer had something very creative and special for me. After all, it is a special day for people in love. Many times my admirer would leave me notes saying that I had become the center of his life. I worked that day. As usual, I left work around 5 in the afternoon. As I was approaching my car, I thought of all the plans my friends probably had with their significant others. I could only hope that my secret admirer would surprise me romantically too. As I got to my car, I immediately saw a red rose and a pink sticky note on my windshield. I smiled. I knew it, I thought. What did he come up with now? Will I see him in person tonight? I smelled the rose and started reading the printed note that said, "My dear Emily, Happy Valentine's Day. Since it is our first Valentine's, I decided to make it very special for us. I love you so much, Emily. Soon we will be together." I swear, every word made my heart beat faster and faster. I turned and looked around the parking lot, trying to see if I could see anyone who could be my secret admirer. But, as people were leaving work, the parking lot was getting emptier. Okay, maybe he is not here, I thought. I was a bit disappointed. However, I was still excited about what was to come. I unlocked my car and got into it. As I was about to place my purse on the front passenger seat, I noticed a red box. Without thinking, I grabbed the box and opened it immediately. It was a smartphone with another sticky note. The note said, "The phone is charged. When you get home, turn its power on. I love you, Emily." Strange, I thought. Suddenly, anxiety crept in. I started driving home. The radio was on but I could not pay attention to it. I was now frantically thinking, how did he leave the phone in my locked car? I always lock my car. No one has a copy of my car keys. Do they? Maybe I accidentally left it unlocked. I must have left it unlocked. I was trying to convince myself that nothing scary was going to happen and how harmless the secret admirer was. After all, so many months had passed and nothing terrible had happened. Lost in my thoughts, it seemed that I got home fast. This time when I got out of my car, I made sure I locked it. Lock sound beeped a few times until I felt satisfied that the car was truly locked. However, as I started approaching my house, I noticed the lights inside my house were on. I do not remember leaving the living room lights on, I thought. Strange. I briefly stopped and thought, wow, I am only 40 years old, and I am already forgetting to turn off the lights. Carefully, I entered the house and checked all the rooms. Everything seemed in order, no signs of a break-in. My cat, Booby, was peacefully sleeping next to the fireplace in the living room. I probably forgot to turn off the lights, I concluded. After dinner, with a glass of wine, I settled into my big chair next to my fireplace. It was a cold February night, so I decided to wrap myself in a blanket. There, on the coffee table was the red box with the smartphone inside it. I decided to turn it on. The phone's screen appeared. Its wallpaper was black with pink writing on it that said, "I love you." I smiled. Cute, I thought. Suddenly, the phone ringtone startled me. My hands began to shake. I answered the call and heard a deep male voice on the other end. "How are you, Emily?" I could barely respond with, "Good. Do you like the gift?" he asked. "Of course, thank you," I replied. "I know that I am being strange with the way I am expressing my feelings," he said. "But I am just shy. You mean a lot to me," he continued. "I am really in love with you. The first time I saw you was at the downtown mall. Since then, you have been the center of my world," he said. His voice was hypnotic and he sounded so calm. "What is your name?" I asked. I could not recognize his voice, so at least I wanted to know his name. "Sam," he answered. I did not know anyone with that name. Then he chuckled and said, "Sorry, I just realized that I never told you my name. Have we been introduced to each other in person?" I asked. "No, not really," he responded. We both were quiet for a few moments, and then he added, "I have just been looking at you from a distance." He was quiet again, then said, "Anyway, soon my love. Keep this phone close by. I will call you often." Then he ended the call. I had many questions now. I could not think of anyone who sounded like him. All this mystery made me more anxious, and I felt the need to have more wine. The wine tasted even more delicious. As I grew sleepy, I decided to go to bed earlier than usual. Apparently, this was the only Valentine's excitement I was going to have for the night. At least, I finally had a voice of the man who has been giving me attention all these months. I took the phone with me to bed. Before falling asleep, I decided to check it out. There were no contacts in the phone's address book. There were no photographs or videos. Feeling tired, I fell asleep. A few hours later, I was awakened by the phone's text notification sound. It was loud enough to wake me up from sleep. My cat was next to me. Usually, my cat comes to my bed when she is hungry. It was 6 in the morning. Wait a minute. I sat up in my bed and petted my cat. "Booby, it looks like I overslept and did not feed you on time," I told her. My cat loves routine. She wakes me up at 5 every morning. Apparently, this time I did not hear her call. "You must be hungry," I told my cat, and I started to go to the kitchen to get her food. But I quickly stopped in my tracks. I noticed that I had a silky red nightgown on me. What the hell? I thought, looking down at myself. Where did this red nightgown come from? Was I drinking so much last night that I cannot remember what I wore to bed? I do not even own what I am wearing at the moment, I thought, panicked. Then I remembered the phone. I ran and grabbed it from the nightstand and opened the text message. The message said, "Good morning. Do you like the nightgown? Red is my favorite color, and I think you look good in red. It complements your blonde hair and light complexion. I love you. Sam." How does he know about the nightgown? When did he give it to me? I do not remember wearing it last night. I can't remember. I was now truly panicking. If Sam is not in the house, how does he know I'm wearing the red nightgown right now? I asked myself. I began to shiver all over. What is happening? I started running from room to room, trying to see if anyone was in my house. There was no one there. Then, I thought that maybe I was drugged since I hardly remembered much from the night before. The wine. I ran to the kitchen to find the wine bottle. It stood on the kitchen table. It was still halfway full. So, I did not drink so much, and yet I hardly have any memory from last night. Maybe something was in the wine that made me fall asleep so fast and deep. Immediately, I threw the bottle in the trash. The doors. I ran to the front door to check if they were locked. They were. Windows. I checked every window in my house. They were all locked. I felt truly scared. Suddenly, the phone rang again. I answered, and yelled, "Sam. This is not funny." He was quiet, then said, "What is the problem, Emily?" He seemed calm and continued, "You don't like that I fed Booby this morning? Or maybe you don't like the nightgown?" I was speechless. How did he know my cat's name? I walked to the kitchen and saw that my cat's food bowl is halfway full. Booby did not finish all of her food. My cat had no reason to wake me at 5 this morning, I realized. How did you get into my house? I asked him angrily. Emily, you must not get angry with me, he said. The love of my life must show me respect. Don't make me mad, he said firmly. Because, if you get me really mad, it will not be good, he threatened and hung up. I started crying. All day I felt paranoid and was crying on and off. I called in sick for a few days. I feared going outside, closed blinds on my windows and locked myself in my bedroom with my cat. I was afraid that I made Sam mad. The whole time I was home, Sam called every hour. I knew it was him because only he knew the phone number of the smartphone he gave me. I did not want to answer his calls. Third evening, my best friend, Alexandra, came to check up on me. She looked concerned and asked me, Emily, what is going on? What is the strange video clip you posted on your Facebook page? I do not know what you are talking about, I told her. Well, go check your Facebook page. There is a strange video posted, and I do not think it should be public. I immediately ran to my desktop computer and opened my Facebook. There was a video posted dated February 14, 2013. Valentine's Day. I did not remember sharing or posting anything on Facebook on Valentine's Day. I played the video. It showed me in my bathroom, behind the shower curtain, singing and taking a shower. Then, I was shown exiting the bathroom with just a towel wrapped around my body. Next, it showed me in my bedroom. The video paused just when I was about to unwrap my towel. Across the screen was written, "Warning." Oh, my lord. I started crying. I told Alexandra everything. She told me to change the audience of the video, and to immediately report everything to the police. She promised to stay with me for a while. We called the police. I reported all that had happened, gave them the phone that Sam gave me and also showed them the video post from my Facebook. For the next several days, the police were investigating the phone and checked out my house for bugs. They found peephole cameras positioned throughout my house. A police officer guarded my house for a while. Weeks went by, then months. Nothing from Sam anymore. The police never found him. It is weird and strange that my stalker seemingly disappeared from the face of the earth. I have since changed jobs, moved to a different town, erased my social media accounts and have been in a committed relationship with a wonderful man. To this day I wonder about Sam, how lucky I was to be alive and whether he will stalk me again.